Hello, Nancy. Hi, Stu. How are you guys? Good afternoon. Hi, Don.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Doing well.
Good, good. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thank you guys for coming. We have quite a few people joining, so we're just gonna give it a few minutes before we get started. So nice to see your faces. Everybody having a good week?
Yeah,
Getting excited for your trips?
very
Yes.
much.
Good. Don, which trip are you guys on? What date are you going?
We're in September at
Okay.
I guess it's the Tuscany Cinque Terre.
Cinque Terre, yes. Very good. So we have some time. Good, good, good.
We're
Okay.
going in mid-May, a couple of weeks.
I know. I know you are. Well, good. Good, good, good. All right. I think we can get started. This is just, an overview of what we do here at Not As Italy, how our tours run. Us as a tour operator, we've been doing this for 20 years and we go all over Italy. We have amazing staff over there that share their passion with all of our Not As Italy family. We don't really call you guys clients too much. You're part of our family. But, especially for the first timers, people that don't know us that well, we wanted to give you some more information about what we do here, what's the process, how the tours are, and just make you a little bit more familiar. And of course, answer any questions. And this is something new for us to do these webinars. So it's a good way to interact with our new family members and, just give you a little bit more support. So that's another part of what we do because we are a small boutique company and we really pride ourselves on that good customer service and, always being there for you guys. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we show you a small presentation. Sabatino, who you guys all know, we, he's gonna go over the tours, some of the tours a little bit more in depth, but more about us as a company. And then also Georgia, she's our program manager in Rome. Some of you will meet her on the tour, especially if you begin in Rome or end in Rome. Sometimes she pops over to the tours themselves. But we're going to give you some more information. And then after, we'll open it up for questions. So if you guys want to just mute yourselves for now, and then once we get to the question portion, you can unmute. And then if you want to raise your hand, I'll call on you and we'll take it from there. But if anybody has to leave early, definitely try and raise your hand first. And if there's something that we didn't get to, you can always contact me after and we can go over anything in more detail. Okay? And we are going to be recording this for people, to see it afterwards that we could share with them. So if, that's okay with everyone. All right, let's get started. Okay, this is a video that we took some time ago, and you can see, especially the pasta making. The pasta making is the best. All the cooking classes, you guys will all be doing a cooking class. They're on all of the tours. So that's a lot of fun. And I have to say, I feel like the men do very well. You think, oh, it's all for the women, but the men do very well, I have to say. I did our Puglia tour some years back, and our cooking class, I remember the guys were phenomenal. So, and just a lot of fun, a lot of fun. These are also some of the things that you see in the tours. Of course, all the food, isn't that the best part? right? The food and the wine, and of course the wonderful ambiance that you guys will be around in these beautiful locations. So nothing, nothing wrong with that. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to go over today, what is small group travel, an overview of who we are at Not As Italy. We'll walk through a few of the tours, and then the registration process, additional services that I help you all with, and then we'll have the questions. Okay? Let me see. Okay. Sabatino, are you there? He might
I
have.
am. You ready?
Okay, I see you now. I see you now. Okay, take it away.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. First, let me thank everybody for taking time and joining us, learning about. I think I've talked to most of you, but it's good to put some names and faces together, and we welcome the people who are joining us for the first time as well. So we'll do kind of just a quick overview of what we do here at Nadas and what it means to be, or for us, what a small group tour means. I'm sure everybody on this call has looked at travel to Italy and what, a small group tour is, and it's a very loose interpretation depending on what company you're looking at. So some companies have tours up to 26, 22, 24 travelers, and they consider that a small group tour. With us, we really focus on that group size. We maximize that group at 12 travelers. We have some tours that are as small as 10 or 8, but we've decided that 12 is really the ideal number. Allows us to be very flexible, very maneuverable, and it keeps us true to our slogan, which is tours for people who don't take tours, right? We like to really keep it authentic, and that 12-person max really lends itself well to that. And you get a lot of great things with it too. We have private drivers, they handle all your luggage. We use Mercedes vans for the transportation. So you're always in luxury, you're in style, you're moving around comfortably. Even our hotels that we use, they're going to be all boutique, luxury style hotels. Try to make sure everything's centrally located, which if you've never been to Italy, it's paramount, right? A lot of places might have great hotels, but they're further outside certain destinations, so you have to spend extra time kind of walking in or taking a larger bus in, closer, and then taking some more time to kind of travel in or transport in from there. So all that's addressed and taken care of. And then the main difference, I mean, our journey directors. We have the best journey directors in the industry. They do an outstanding job. We'll kind of touch on that a little bit more later. And you can see that in our reviews too. We have well over 100 5-star reviews, perfect reviews on Google. And the main thread in all of those reviews is the journey director. That's how important they are to the tour. That's how good they are. And that goes for really any company. If you're going on a tour, the itinerary could look great, but if you get there and your journey director isn't outstanding, it's going to have a direct impact, on that trip itself and on that tour. So we're very proud of the work that they do, and they really set the tone and make Nadas complete in that sense. So I think the next slide is kind of getting a little bit more into that. Like we talked about, we keep that maximum at 12. The nice thing is we include pretty much everything once you get to the hotel, right? So you get to that hotel, we include the majority of your lunches, your dinners, all your breakfasts, the wines included. We upgrade the rooms for you. So there's never additional packages that we're tacking on. Everything's in there. We make sure it's done efficiently. We have a huge return traveler base, right? And one of the big benefits to that is getting the feedback. You get very honest feedback when you have people who travel with you 6, 7, 8, 9 times. They're going to be very honest and tell you what works, what might not, where we could be more efficient. So we've really fine-tuned these tours to be as efficient as possible, get the maximum out of it. And to kind of touch on the journey directors again, they have flexibility where other companies might not allow them to have flexibility. They have that with us. So if there's I don't know, an event scheduled or something scheduled, and maybe it's for the outdoors later in the week, but it's scheduled to rain, they can kind of adjust things, have some common sense. So you're never just locked into that day, you're stuck on a bus. It's your vacation. We want you to enjoy it, right? So that's all part of it. But kind of going back to those reviews, we have on the website all the reviews, or not all of them, but reviews for each tour within that tour itself. So you don't have to filter through them on Google. You can go into, say, the Amalfi tour or the Tuscany tour and go down there and see reviews specific and unique to that tour. And I always encourage new travelers, even if you've been with us before and you're looking at a newer tour, to read those reviews because it gives you an excellent point of view from the traveler perspective. Um, you can see, almost visualize the itinerary on some of these reviews and get a really good sense of, how that tour is going to be, if it's going to be a little bit more hard paced or relaxed, laid back. Because we try to focus each tour on that specific region that they might be visiting, right? So each part of Italy has its own characteristics. Okay, Italy isn't huge geographically, but there's so much region to region. They're so different, and we really try to hone in and focus on those. So these are a few reviews that cover some of our more popular tours. Amalfi being one of them. Italian Treasures, I think, is in there. Blissfully Italian, but you can find many, many more on the Google page or on, like I said, the individual tour page. So if you want to take a minute and look those over, I'm sure some of you have already as well. So, and then once you get to the actual website, I'm sure some of you have seen already, we have the tours broken down into a few different sections. So we have by region. So whether it's Central Italy, Northern Italy, Southern Italy, you can filter them out that way. We also have them by duration. So the majority of our signature tours, which are our small group tours, are broken into really two durations, with the majority being the 11-day tours, 10 nights. Those will always start on a Friday and they'll end on a Monday. And then the 8-day tours, those will also start on a Friday, but they'll end on that following Friday. So you'll have that weekend if you want to extend it or just get back to the States. We also do extensions. We have a whole division, a whole team that does private and customized tours. So what a lot of people may do is they'll book a tour, whether it's the 8 or the 11-day, and then they'll add on a few days at the beginning or a few days at the end. It could just be an overnight. You might want to come in a day early or stay a day late, or you could build out a whole extension. You could build out multiple days for multiple people. It'd be a private extension for different parts of Italy, and you can make almost like a hybrid style tour. We do that very often. So we have really a lot of resources here, a lot of capabilities. Being small, it's really unique in that sense, and we take advantage of it, and we make sure all of our clients know it. And you can also break it down by season, whether you want to go in the spring or the fall. We make sure we try to pick the best seasons regardless. So we don't run a tour usually earlier than April for the signature tours. And the last tours will usually run late October. Sometimes we'll do a few in early November, but the bulk majority is going to be those September, October dates for the fall, and then for the spring, April, May, and June. So you can really decipher where you want to go, how long you want to go, and what time of year you want to go. And if you're not sure, that's where I come in, talk a little bit more about that at a later date. So I think the next one is picking the right tour. So it's very subjective, and people always ask me, well, which tour do you think I should do, this or this? And I never want to give a straight answer. We like to figure out what type of experience you want to have. Everybody's into food and wine, right? That's always the answer. But we like to drill down a little bit more if you're into, maybe museums or the art or churches or the history. If you want a little bit more of a fast-paced tour, if you want something a little bit more laid back, right? Like we mentioned earlier, each tour is going to have its own characteristics. So the tours that we have highlighted here, just a couple of them, we have built it the first-time traveler in mind, or maybe somebody who hasn't been to Italy in a while and they want kind of a refresher. And those first three there, the Italian Treasures, the Blissfully Italian, and the Mediterranean Bliss, those were built with those types of travelers in mind. Doesn't mean nobody else can travel. It's just those are the first tours that we kind of put together with those travelers in mind. The Italian Treasures is the 11-day tour, starts in Venice and heads south. The Blissfully Italian is very similar to the Italian Treasures. It just doesn't include Venice. So you would start in Rome and then you would finish in Florence. And then the Mediterranean Bliss Tour is similar to the Blissfully Italian in the sense that the Rome portion is very familiar with that. and then you head south to Sorrento. And then we have many tours that are off the beaten path. We have a Tuscany tour. We have a northern tour that does the lakes region. We have a Puglia tour, which is a phenomenal tour. It's starting to get a lot of traction in the past few years. More and more people are interested in that region. So we see a lot more interest on that as well. But once you kind of decided, what time of year you want to go, we can sit down and have a discussion over the pros and cons for your situation of each tour, what might be a good fit for you, what you're looking to accomplish on that tour, whether you want to go for a longer tour, shorter tour, something off the beaten path, the big cities, all that. So that's what's nice about having so many options. You've gone to ones, then you can come back, and that's how we get so many people joining us again on those return tours. So, and this was just kind of a walkthrough for the Italian Treasures tour. This was the 11-day tour. For this, we're going to pass it off to Georgia. Georgia's our program manager. She's in Rome, so she's actually on site all the time. If there's ever an issue, if your flight gets delayed, your bags get lost, God forbid you get injured or sick on the tour, we have Georgia there. She works with the company. She's involved in us. We speak with her daily. It's not just a call center that we're talking to. We actually have a functioning office there. So she does a great job, and she's going to tell you a little bit about, I think, the Italian Treasures tour, and I believe the Amalfi tour as well. So I'll let her take it from here.
Grazie Sabatino, buon pomeriggio a tutti, buon pomeriggio a tutti. Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm super excited to be here with you today. As said, thanks to Sabatino and thanks also Daria. I am the program manager here, based right here in Rome, and I'll be your main contact once you are in Italy. So for any emergency, I'm available for anything 24/7. So I love this job, not just because it's about travel, which, is already amazing, but because I get to share my country with you. I'm Italian, of course, and trust me, there's a lot to share. So the first tour, Italian Treasure. Let's talk about some of our tours. Italian Treasure. This one is a classic one. So it's like, if it's your first time in Italy, it's perfect. You get a real taste of 3 totally different, amazing cities. We start in Venice, where Sabatino was saying. Now, I always say that Venice to me is like meeting a beautiful woman. It's mysterious, it's romantic, unlike any place in the world. So you have in Venice a local guide showing you around, someone who actually lives in Venice. So you'll get to see way beyond the postcards, and really understand the magic of this unique city. Then we go to Florence. So Florence, come on, guys, is the art of Renaissance. Everywhere you look, you see art, history, amazing food, and that super warm Tuscan vibe that just make you want to slow down and enjoy every second. And then we finally arrive in Rome. Rome is not actually my city because I come from Naples, but it's the city where I live right now. So what can I say? Rome is unforgettable. Rome, the beauty, the chaos also, the history and the energy. Then you see, you go around, you walk around, and then in a moment you see the Colosseum on your right, and then on your left, the Vatican Museum. I mean, it's something incredible. And then everywhere you go, it's full of stories. And of course, the food. It's something. So speaking of the food, get ready because every city in Italy has its own flavors. So the dishes you eat in Venice is totally different from the dishes that you eat in Florence and in Rome. So it is something that when you have a tour, you go around and then you taste so different flavors. It's something very unique here in Italy. And then another tour, fantastic tour, Jewels of Amalfi Coast. So Jewels of Amalfi Coast is my hometown. So what can I say? We start in Rome, like the Italian Treasure, but we spend one day in Rome the first day, Friday and Saturday, and then we move. So we start in Rome. Rome is the eternal city. As said, you see the history, you taste the food, you can feel the energy and everything. and then you move, and then you go to this. The name is Jewels of Amalfi. The jewels, I mean, Amalfi Coast is unique. So you spend 8 days in Positano. Positano, it's the vertical town of the Amalfi Coast. So you go around, picture tiny, colorful street, gorgeous boutique. So you can imagine you walk and you see all this fantastic boutique everywhere. To me, when I think about the Amalfi Coast, I already smell, believe me, the flavor, the smell of the fresh lemons. And then I can hear, you know, the sound of the waves of the sea. So it's an incredible tour. And then back again to the food. I mean, it's my hometown. How can I say? I mean, Amalfi, Positano, the region itself in Campania, wherever you go, you can, you know, taste the real flavor. The Italian food is spectacular. So during these 8 days, you will also discover the history and the hidden treasures of the region. From ancient ruins, you know that we go to Pompeii, which is famous all over the world, and then to charming little villages. So Jewels of Amalfi Coast is another precious, fantastic, unique tour of the Nadas, Italy. So it's the kind of trip you'll be thinking about forever. So I'm waiting for you, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you, everybody here in Italy. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgia. Great job. Well, if anybody was on the fence, I'm sure that pushed you over right there. So, so once we've decided on a date, decided on a tour, the next process would be to register you, to get you officially on that tour. And it's a very simple process. I usually send kind of a recap email just to make sure everything is correct. Pick the tour, the date, and then I request the information. And what I just really need initially is the names of each traveler on your passport. And we ask that for a few reasons. That makes sure you have your passport. You can check the date on your passport, make sure it's current, because that passport has to be valid 6 months from your return also. So we want to make sure that's accurate and everything's good there. So I'll collect those names, and then we just need your deposit preference. And we have 2 options to choose from for the deposit. The first option is a 50% deposit, with the remaining 50% due 90 days prior to departure. And then the second option is a $500 deposit per traveler. The remaining balance is then divided out into equal monthly installments, which would start the following month. And then that final installment is due 90 days prior to departure. So there's no additional charge or fee if you go the installment plan. It's just whichever is the best for you. So we would get that information, generate a registration for you. It will get emailed over to you, and you can log in through our travel portal, which is right on our website, the top right corner. Click on that, enter your credentials. It'll pull up a intake form for both travelers. You'll complete your information there. It's just name, date of birth, emergency contacts. If anybody has allergies or dietary restrictions, we encourage you to put that in there, because we can accommodate pretty much everything. And you can put your payment right through that same portal. So everything is done there. If you decide to go with the monthly installment, accounting can set it up so they can just bill you automatically every month. And if you do the 50/50, they'll set it up so at that 90-day, you'll get a bill as well. And they'll send you the invoice each month every time you receive that credit or that debit. And they'll give you I think a 30-day notice prior to that 90-day as well. Let you know, hey, final bill is coming out. So very simple. If you have questions, obviously I'm always available. You can call me and we'll walk you through it. So.
Okay.
Then the additional services back to Dara. She'll handle extra nights, airport transfers, things like that.
Correct. So after you register for your trip, you will come to me and I will help you with everything to prepare you for travel. So I'm your go-to for any additional services. If you want to arrive early, we do suggest to arrive early just in case, God forbid, you have any flight delays. You have a little bit of buffer if you arrive the day before, so you won't miss anything on your tour. Especially some of the tours do begin on day 1, which is Friday for the longer tours, and we don't want you to miss anything. The second reason is it is a long trip from the US, and sometimes you guys are going to have multiple flights. So just to kick off that jet lag, and it'll help you kind of reset and get ready for your trip. It's not it's totally up to you. If you're flexible with your time, we do recommend it, but you definitely don't have to do it. I would say most of the people do, but we do encourage it just for those two reasons that I mentioned. And sometimes, you want to come in a little bit early if you've never been to the city before. Maybe you want to spend a few more days. Like they were saying on Jewels of Amalfi, we don't really spend any time in Rome. Logistically, it just works better to go in and out of Rome. That's the way the tour is built. If you've never been, maybe you want to spend 2-3 nights. I can give you a million things to do and help you set up all of that. Or if you wanted to do some kind of extension with Simona, who is with our by design department, she can create something totally custom for you. So any airport transfers, I could set those up. We do private transfers, the extensions. Also, we work with an air consolidator. So if you would like to, check out airfare, we do business class, we do all the classes, but especially business class. A lot of people are interested in that. And also travel insurance. We work with Travel Guard. There's a million companies that you can Google and find out about travel insurance, but we work with Travel Guard. They're a great company, and we can give you an instant quote right away. I can help you with all that if you need help, but it's also recommended to get some travel insurance because you never know what can happen. That's what insurance is there for all those what ifs. And, sometimes things do happen, sometimes more than not. And you want to have that peace of mind. So you guys have a big trip, and it's good to just have that peace of mind to insure it and to protect it. Okay. So what we include already with your booking is, of course, I give you all the information a lot closer to departure, but everything to prepare you for travel. So we're doing these pre-departure webinars to also do the same kind of interactive question and answer to help you before you leave. But we're going to give you a checklist, tell you what you need to do at what time. Of course, I'm here as your personal concierge, and you can get in touch with me at any time. But, we really want to be a resource for you with any questions. I help with logistics, packing, all that good stuff. So this is just another way that we like to give that personal touch and personal service to our new family members and Not As Italy. Okay, so let's open it up for questions. If anybody has any questions, just raise your hand and I'll call on you and you just unmute. Okay, let's see. All right, Nancy, I saw your hand. Winner, winner. Go ahead, unmute. Not yet. Find the little microphone.
Question. Raise your hands. Chat. Yeah.
I Stu, I see you're unmuted. Do you want to go first? And then
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
get back to Hank and Nancy.
Yep. Kim has a
Okay.
question.
Yeah, hi. I was just trying to find out whether we need to bring euros with us
Yes, ma'am.
and some idea about how much. And then I'm assuming that tips, I don't know whether you want them in euros or American dollars. So
Yes,
yes.
yes. Everything that you spend over there is going to be in euros. So American dollars are not going to be accepted anywhere. Tips for your drivers, journey directors, they accept euros. Basic tips are included in the tour price. So anything that you tip extra is optional, and it's, I always tell everyone, just give from your heart. But on the checklist that I send you before you leave, about 60 days before departure, I'm going to send you an email with all the tour specifics. It's going to have a checklist attached to it, and they have a portion on tips as well to give you some guidelines. But yes, everything is going to be in euros. Absolutely. So for ordering euros at your bank is very easy. Some banks can do it just online, but they normally have to order it. So check and see how long it will take.
Yeah.
I would say the last month before you're leaving, look into that so you're not scrambling the last minute. But a lot of banks could give you like a few days turnover. But you have to check. You have to
Well,
check.
we'll have to do it soon because we are leaving relatively soon. But I got confused because I thought the checklist we had been given was in dollars and maybe I misread that. So I'll have to go back and reread that note.
I'm gonna look too because it should say euros in there.
Okay, that's good.
It may have been at another time when the dollar meant,
Dollar
the
actually
dollar
makes
meant
sense.
something.
Nothing
Nothing political though.
No, but definitely euros, definitely euro. And it depends. I would say at least 500 euros. You'll be able to get more money when you're there if you need to. Your journey directors will let you know, okay, guys, here's an ATM. Does anybody need to stop and get money? So there'll be plenty of opportunities to get more money if you need to get more cash. But try and use your credit cards as much as possible for restaurants. Anytime you're on your own, you're doing shopping, restaurants, any big purchases. If you're going to purchase wine at the wineries to send home, things like that, use your credit card. You can track it. You lock in the exchange rate for that day, et cetera, et cetera. It's just more secure. So anything like that, but something little, you go to the bar and you have a coffee, it's €1. Just give them change. Or like for tips, also just, if you want to leave a few coins at the restaurant. So reserve your cash for little purchases like that.
Right.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. Excellent.
You're welcome. Okay. I see you're unmuted, Nancy. Go.
Okay, so we've been on the Amalfi Coast tour and it was wonderful. If anybody's going on that, and they do give you all the information you need, so don't panic about anything. We're interested now in a second trip, and we were interested in the Lake Como area, and I see you have a Lake Como in Piedmont. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but is there any way you have a Simona who will sort of tailor it to you, or is it the one that's scheduled? Is that scheduled, and then whatever we would do would be extra either before or after? Is that kind of how they would do it?
You want to take it, Sabi?
Sure. So, correct. So the signature tour, the small group tour, similar to the Amalfi one that you went on, we can't really tailor those, right? Because there's other
Okay.
so that would be set. So what you could do is you could join that tour, and then if there was something you wanted to add, you could do before or after. Or if there was something on that itinerary or the majority of that itinerary you just weren't interested in, or there was too much traveling or destinations you weren't too keen on, Simona can design you, just you, it'd be the two of you, a private trip, a personal itinerary.
Okay.
She can build it out specifically to what you want, to wherever you want, for any date that you want. And she has that capability.
I looked at the map and it looked like, is it mostly by train or is this by the van for that particular trip? Is that?
Yes. So all of the Italian tours are all by, we don't use the train at all in Italy.
Okay.
We do, I think in Spain, we may just at the beginning because it's a longer commute. And it's the most efficient means of transportation is the train for that, both by, time. But for that tour, it's all Mercedes vans we use. That's a really, really nice tour. You're on the lake for a few days and then you get to travel around. So you kind of use, when you're on the lake, almost kind of like we did in Amalfi, kind of as your home base, and you'll visit a few places from there. We go to Switzerland for a day. You're in Milan. Milan's beautiful. So that's a really nice tour.
Maybe they're talking about the Benina Express train.
Yes, that's when you're going up to Switzerland. It's like a glass train, right, Georgia?
Okay, so there is a train ride. That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
For that particular one, we use it. It's almost like a feature though. because it's a very unique train. It's not,
The
uh,
Not a
UNESCO.
train, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a train, but you have glasses everywhere. I mean, it's fantastic. And then you see around the mountain. And then you reach the train by van, and then you have the train through these Alps and then till St. Moritz. And then you go back to the hotel by van. So it's just a portion of
It's
the
not like a commuter train. It's a
No.
pleasure train.
yes, first
For your
class.
ple-
It's
for your
very unique.
leisure.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
very
leisure train.
Okay.
Is it, how about the weather in October for
September. we went
September,
Nice.
October? Is it still warm enough up north?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very subjective, but I'd say it's still probably mid-70s, right, Georgia, in the northern for September, at least.
For that particular trip, for September, you would say that that would be good weather, like 70s?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, again, it depends where you're from. You know, I grew up in Maine, so if you ask me, I lived there. If it was 70 in September, I'd be all over it. Well, now I live in South Florida. September in the 70s is a little cooler for me. So everybody's a little bit different, but you know,
Well,
it's
that particular trip,
Yeah.
we would want to know if in September and early September, would it be, or anytime in September, would it be 70s? Is that kind of what we're looking at?
yeah, absolutely. I'd say mid to high 70s, especially earlier in September. It's still going to be quite warm. It's going to be great
Exactly.
walking weather. You're going to be on the water. I'm
Mhm.
probably even
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, maybe even 80s a few days in early September.
So we do get a boat ride as well.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I think John has a question. Can't hear you.
Go ahead, I hear you.
Oh, I can't hear him.
Let's see. Oh, John. No, you're muted, John.
We can't hear you.
How about now?
Yes.
Go.
All right, thank you. We traveled with Hank and Nancy in the fall on the Jewels of Amalfi trip, and couldn't agree with Nancy any stronger. It was a fabulous trip. The other Georgia was our tour director, and we had a wonderful time. And that's why I guess the four of us are having this conversation again. The questions Nancy had about the northern one. Now, it doesn't appear that you really integrate Switzerland into even a custom tour, because that's what we might be interested in is, you know, several days around Lake Como, and neither one of us have ever been into Switzerland, and then several days in Switzerland. Is that something that would be possible to design?
Of
I'm
course.
sure it is. Yeah, Simona has incredible capabilities. So
Okay.
if it's possible, I'm sure Simona will find a way to get it done for you. Absolutely. But
Okay.
I can touch base with her once we're done, and we can set up a call, and you know, I'll give her kind of the rundown. Of what we
Yeah, if you could let us know how we contact her, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay,
I'll
that'd
send
be
you an
great.
email
Thank you.
afterwards with contact information and do a little introduction.
Thank you. You can mute me again if you want.
Yeah, you can mute me too. Sorry.
There we go. There we go. All right, good. Anybody else? I see. Let's see. Anybody else have any other questions?
Why don't you ask?
Yes, are you going to address some of the questions on the frequently asked questions, or should we just look it up on the what to expect page?
We can address them. I mean, is there one in particular you were looking at, or you want me to just kind of...
Time
Yes,
to get ready in the morning?
wake up time.
Great question. Yeah. So again, with the wake up times, it's a vacation, right? So we are you waking up at 7 a.m. or 6:30 and then meeting 30 people on a bus and following a guy around with an orange umbrella. It's nothing like that, right? So usually the day will start around 9-ish, I'd say, maybe maybe quarter past, but roughly around that time. So it gives you plenty of time to have breakfast. Maybe if you want to take a walk, if you're in Amalfi, enjoy the ocean, or whatever the case may be. But again, it's your vacation. So we want you to enjoy it. We want you to have a good time. But most of the days are going to start roughly around 9. Again, give or take
Right.
15 or 20
Thank you.
minutes one way or the other. So
That's great.
the majority of the people traveling in your group, it's very different. We have people, you know, in the 20s or 30s traveling, not very frequent, but it happens. I mean, as old as we've had couples, you know, in their 80s, early 80s traveling. But I'd say the vast majority are going to be retired or retirement age. anywhere from probably the 50s to the early 70s. The majority, again. And each tour is a little different, but we have a great group, and I'm sure Hank and Nancy and John can all speak to. They've been on the tour, so they know we're very fortunate with our travelers, and it's a great group, usually always. So you will need your passport for sure, like we touched on earlier. Make sure it's valid 6 months from the return of your trip. You want to see that, double check it, triple check it, because you don't want to get to the airport. They won't let you board. They won't let you travel. So we can tell you.
I would,
You're muted.
I would say on the, we took the Amalfi tour, didn't change a thing on that. It was absolutely perfect. It was just so well coordinated, and every activity was just perfect. And we've actually, we have half a dozen friends who have traveled with you guys, several times, and every one of them comes back and says it was just absolutely perfect.
It's
Well,
so
we appreciate that.
magical. The Amalfi Coast. It's so magical.
That's all Georgia too. She's the wizard behind the curtain that keeps everything rolling smooth and clockwork. So make sure everybody's happy. But we appreciate that feedback, and we put a lot of work into it, as she does in particular, and take a lot of pride in that. So thank you for saying that. But let me see what else was questions. We touched on the time. You will get your own bedroom and bathroom. It's not like a dorm style. You don't have to share with anybody. So they're real hotels, so you don't have to worry about that. Dress code, Daria will touch on that when she sends you her email. It's going to have a lot of great information in there. Like she said, tipping and dress code in particular will be on there. We want to be conscious of things. You can't wear certain items of clothes if you're going to the Vatican, things like that, and how to prepare for that. And then when you meet up with the group, once you get to that hotel, everything is handled for you from there. So once you arrive, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't even have to touch your bags. The drivers will take care of all that too.
And then sorry, Sabo, no, I would like to add something. 2 weeks before your departure, our journey director usually send an email to present, himself or herself. And they always had a picture, so you can recognize them once you are at the hotel. And he usually had in the email also the right time of the appointment together with everybody, and him, of course, or her, at the reception or inside the hotel, so you can meet your journey director and with the picture so you can recognize them. So this is something very helpful.
Correct. And you'll have their contact information also. You'll have their phone numbers before you leave. So if there's any emergencies, of course you have our Georgia, but you'll also have the phone number of your journey director. We recommend to download WhatsApp. That's a perfect way to get in touch with anyone, call, text to them, and especially our journey directors and Georgia. They all use that. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to go over it with you.
It's free, so easy.
Exactly. Okay, I think that's it. Does anybody else have any more questions? Go ahead, Don.
Any suggestions on luggage? I know we just came back from a trip and had like way too much luggage, and it was rather awkward and that type of thing. So I'm just curious if you have any recommendations.
We do not limit you on your luggage, but of course, as a general rule, it's better to pack light, as you found out, than to not. Especially once you're on the tour, we're going to handle your luggage, but especially if you're extending a trip after, if you're staying extra, if you're taking a train between cities, you will be the one handling the luggage on and off the train. So that could be a problem if you take too much luggage. So as a general rule, try and pack as light as you can. You do have the daily schedule on the website. So okay, we have this many days, I need X amount of pants, shirts, et cetera, et cetera. Try and give yourself a little bit extra maybe, and that'll help you to get a realistic number of clothes items that you need. The hotels do have a laundry service. A lot of them don't have it on site, but they'll have it off site. So if you did want to maybe bring a few less pairs of pants than you would have and have it washed, if that's something that interests you, a lot of people ask about laundry on the tour. That could help cut down a little bit, but in general, you know, I would say most people just do one large case per person and then a carry-on. I feel like that's reasonable, but if you're bringing more than that, you know, it could be a little bit cumbersome, but we don't limit you. So feel free to bring whatever, but you know.
Yeah. And we are arriving early on May 15 for the Amalfi tour. Should we be in touch with about ideas to do for the day before the trip, things that we can do on our own?
I'll help you with that. I'll send you some stuff by email.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, of course. Okay, anybody else, guys? Carol, you good? Michelle, you good? Joe, anybody else? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all so much for attending, and I hope everything helped. I hope you got your questions answered, and have a wonderful trip, especially Stu and Kim that are leaving very soon.
Buon viaggio.
Buon viaggio.
Buon viaggio a tutti.
Okay, have a
Thank
good
you.
day, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
See you all
Thank you.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.